Hello, good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, wherever you're joining me. Today's Masechta is Tractate Bava Metzia Daf 71 Amud B. So let's dive straight in. It says, Avev Laman, Ilema Avev Israel, Vahatana Edu Ovin below Tase, Hamalva Vahalova Avev Haedim. The Gemara asks, you may become a guarantor for whom? If we say that means a guarantor for a Jew lends money to another Jew with interest, that's difficult. But this would be contradicted by that which the sages taught in the Mishnah 75b. These are the ones who transgress the prohibition, the lender and the borrower. The witnesses, the guarantor and the witnesses. It is prohibited to serve as a guarantor for such a loan. Rather, it must mean that one may serve as a guarantor for a Gentile. If a Jew borrows money from a Gentile with interest, the lender may not serve as the guarantor, since under Gentile law, the lender collects directly from the guarantor, and therefore the guarantor receives the interest on the loan when he collects from the borrower. If the Gentile accepts upon himself to have the transaction judged by Jewish law, according to which he must first attempt to collect directly from the borrower, it is permitted nowadays, when it is universal practice to first attempt to repay from the borrower, it is assumedly not necessary to pronounce that the transaction must be judged by Jewish law. And that's from the Bava Metzia Daf 55 Shulchan Aruch Yodei 171 to the Shachta, who lends to another Jew with interest. This is also difficult, since the law of the Gentiles is that he goes after the guarantor to collect the money without trying to collect first from the borrower. Under Gentile laws, it is the responsibility of the guarantor to pay the lender and receive the money from the borrower. Consequently, when this occurs, the guarantor is considered to have borrowed money from the Gentile and lent it himself to the Jew, with the result that the guarantor is the one who takes the interest in the borrower, which is prohibited. Rav Sheshet said, the case is that the Gentile accepted upon himself to have this transgression judged by the law of the Jews. Kibel olav ledun bedina Yisrael. The early commentaries ask what happens if the Gentile acts in accordance with Jewish law and first tries to collect from the borrower, who does not have the money to pay the debt, and the Gentile therefore collects from the guarantor. In such a case, the guarantor will later retrieve the money from the borrower, and he will consequently pay interest to another Jew. Therefore, how can a Jew serve as a guarantor? The Ramban answered that since the Gentile lent money directly to the borrower, and at first attempted to collect repayment from him, when he subsequently claims the money from the guarantor, the entire money is viewed as a debt to the Gentile and earns interest on a loan, so that he may not reclaim repayment from the guarantor. The Gemara asks, if the Gentile accepts upon himself to have this transaction judged by the law of the Jews, he should also not take interest, since this is prohibited by Jewish law. In response to Rav Sheshet said he accepted upon himself the laws of the Jews with regard to this. The procedural matter with regard to the method of collection, but he did not accept upon himself the laws of the Jews with regard to that, the prohibition against taking interest. The mission teaches a Jew may serve as a middleman and lend a Gentile money to another Jew with the knowledge of the Gentile, but not with the knowledge of a Jew, i.e. the middleman himself. The sages taught a Jew may lend a Gentile's money as a middleman to another Jew with the knowledge of the Gentile, but not with the knowledge of a Jew. How so? In the case of a Jew who borrowed money with interest from a Gentile. If a Jew borrowed money with interest from a Gentile and then wanted to return the money, but a fellow Jew said to him, give the money to me and I will return to the Gentile according to the same terms that you pay him, this is prohibited. Even if the second Jew had a promissory note to the Gentile in his own name, and even if he paid the interest directly to the Gentile, it is now prohibited. If the Gentile accepted the money back from the first Jew and then lent it afterward to the second Jew, is permitted, even if the first Jew paid the interest due to the Gentile using the second Jew as his agent. Additionally, if the first Jew presented the second Jew to the Gentile, thus they placed the money on the ground and the second Jew picked it up from there, is permitted. As the Bava Metzia Daf 5 168.1. I don't want to do a table forward. Sorry about that. I lost my place. And another Jew found the Gentile and said to him, give it to me and I will pay interest in the same way that you pay the Jewish lender. This is permitted. So he paid the interest to a Gentile and not to a Jew. If the Gentile borrower presented the second Jew to the Jew, lent him the money, and the Jewish lender agreed to the arrangement, it is prohibited. We might discuss the Brisa. Granted, the latter clause of the Brisa, which said the payment were due to pay the Gentile borrower when the Jewish lender is aware of the transaction, can be explained as a stringency due to the concern about the prohibition of interest. But in the first clause, Jewish lender presents the Jewish borrower Gentile borrower before handing him the money, and the fact that it is permitted indicates that he acts as a Gentile's agent, not on his own. But since halacha is that there is no agency for a Gentile, this means that the Jew is the one who takes the interest from the second borrower. Why then does the Brisa permit it? Hamarav Huna Bamanoach Mishmei Rav Acha Berei Rav Ika. Here we are dealing with a case where the Gentile said to the Jew when he returned the money, place it upon the ground and be dismissed, and afterward the other Jew went and took it. Therefore the loan transaction directly between the second Jew and the Gentile. Whereas if this is so, what is the purpose of stating it? Even though it is possible to say that the first clause in the Brisa is actually unnecessary, and the Brisa taught it only in order to contrast it with the latter clause, this answer would not apply in the case of the Mishnah, which does not have the latter clause of the Rashba. In this scenario, it is always that there are two separate loans, and the first Jewish loan has nothing to do with the loan to the second. Certainly permitted. Although Pava said it must be speaking about the case where the Gentile took the money from the first Jew and gave it to the second Jew by hand. The Gemara asks, but still, what is the purpose of stating it? In this case, also, the second loan is clearly transacted directly with the Gentile lender. The Gemara asks, lest you say the Gentile himself, when he does this, he gives it with the knowledge of the Jew, as he trusts the second borrower due to the mediation of the first, and therefore one might have thought that he is deemed involved in the loan. To counter this, the Brisa teaches us that this is not the case. Rashi said, it's possible to explain the Brisa in a different way. When we say that the halacha is that there is no agency for a Gentile, this matter applies concerning the separation of teruma. Her name mainly be teruma. A Jew can appoint an agent to separate teruma and tithe on his behalf. The Gentile cannot serve as the agent. Also, a Gentile cannot be appointed to serve as an agent for any other matter, and that's the Bava Metzia Daf, Chatuma 4:1. The portion of produce designated for a priest. It is in this context of the halacha that there is no agency for a Gentile to arrive, but considering the rest of the halacha of the Torah, there is agency for a Gentile. More comments on this opinion of Rashi is an error. Since what is different about teruma, that a Gentile cannot be appointed as an agent, as if concerning teruma, so you shall also set apart a gift unto the Lord of all your tithes, Numbers 18:28. Once the verse states you, the addition of the word also in the phrase you also serves to include an agent. The phrase addition derived just as you who appoint agents are members of the covenant, I Jews, so to your agents must be members of the covenant. A Gentile cannot separate teruma even if appointed as an agent by a Jew. The Gemara continues. The concept of agency with regard to the rest of the halacha of the Torah is also a matter that we learn through tradition from a derivation from teruma. Shalicha dechol b'Torah kula b'teruma. Some explain that the halacha of agency itself is not derived from teruma, rather than the detail it was remember the covenant and not a Gentile derived from teruma. Torah Chaim see Kedushin 41b. As this is the source of the halacha that the legal status of the agent is like that of himself, therefore the same halacha applied to agency in all matters. Rather, it must be concluded that the opinion by Rashi is an error. There are those who say a different version of this discussion. Rashi says, when we say that there is no agency for a Gentile, this matter applies concerning them as serving as agents for us, but we can be agents for them. With regard to this comment, it was said, and this opinion by Rashi is an error. As what is different that they cannot serve as agents for us, as it is written concerning teruma, you shall set apart a gift unto the Lord of all your tithes. Numbers 18:28. Once the verse says you, the addition of the word also in the phrase you also serve to include your agents. The sages also just as you, those who appoint your agents are members of the covenant, I do so to your agents as members of the covenant. And the Gemara continues, therefore we also cannot serve as agents for them. The principle is said, just as you, those who appoint the agents, are children of the covenant, so too all who appoint agents must be members of the covenant. Rather than to conclude that this opinion expressed by Rashi is an error, Ravina says another answer. Granted, a Gentile is not included in the category of agency, but he has the power by being able to acquire an item, the act of acquisition performed by another. So what does this mean? Shechiyah Rabbanan Islay. Some of the other commentaries were inclined to modify this version of the text, as they felt it must be that this power is from the Torah and not rabbinic law. The Ramban writes that it is not appropriate to change the text simply due to logical difficulty in response to the question of how rabbinically legislated acquisition can cancel a Torah prohibition of interest. He answered that since the loan was transacted through the brokerage of a Gentile, the prohibition of interest is by rabbinic law, and therefore an acquisition that is valid in rabbinic law can cancel it. The Rashba gives a different answer, that the prohibition of interest here is cancelled due to the principle that property declared ownerless by the court is considered ownerless, an acquisition performed by another. This is similar to Allah concerning a Jewish minor. As with a minor, it is not the case that even though he is not included in the category of agency, Katan Leishalichus, a minor cannot appoint an agent, and if he does, and the action performed by the agent viewed as an action performed of his own accord, and answer the Bava Metzia Daf, to stop him to just finish off the sentence because next. Nevertheless, he has the power by minimum to acquire an item by means of an acquisition performed by another. Others can acquire an item on behalf of a minor, even if he is only 1 day old, both in his presence and not in his presence. As Imam Sefer Kenyan Hechad Kliyum Tana for age Shulchan Mishpat 243:18. Thank you for listening, and I wish you a good day and peace in this episode's service.